Well, she's not in here yet, but that was her first time speaking, you guys. Like, Marissa! Woo! That was so, I love hearing people's stories. I didn't introduce you yet. You're okay. No. Well, I am super excited about our next speaker today. Again, I forgot to mention, you guys, if you have to use the restroom or anything like that, you don't have to raise your hand in permission or anything. Usually after every speaker, we do have a song that plays, but feel free, grab some snacks, whatever you need to do. I purposely put this next speaker, actually put her after lunch, and then I got to hear her, and then I was like, oh, dang, you need to be before lunch. So I'm so excited to share her with you. You may or may not know her. I am told that we look a little bit alike. So now I screwed up on my notes because it's supposed to be after lunch. No, I'm joking. Okay, no, I'm not joking. These are a mess. But I actually know before lunch when you guys are like hungry and your tummies are rumbling that she'd be just the energy that you need. And I promise I'm not going to go get all sappy on my introductions. I did a little bit with Marissa. But this girl has been with me through thick and thin. I mean, she even went with me to like adopt a baby. We have been enemies, and then friends, and then we've been best friends, and then we've been business partners, and then we've been ex-business partners. And then friends again, and now we just get to be like encouragers to one another and like non-biological family members. So without further ado, I hope you love her. I know you're going to love her just as much as I do. And I want to welcome Miss Lindsay Rindy to the stage.
Okay. Oh, can you hear me? Is it on? Enemy is a little harsh, Megan. I do not feel like we're enemies, but we all have our own story. Oh, hello, everybody. I am Lindsay, and before we get started, I want you to get to know me a little bit because what we're going to be talking about today is a little deep. And I feel like it's a little easier to do that when you're doing that with a good friend. And although I can't sit down next to you guys and have this conversation one-on-one like I'd want to, this is the next best thing. So this is me. I love cats. Do you guys see the Taylor Swift Time magazine when she was on the cover and she had her cat hanging around her? That's what I tried to do there, but it didn't work very well. So I am 37 years young, and every year that goes by, I'm just grateful that I have another year on this earth. Growing older does not bother me, but I wish the gray hairs would slow down a little bit, and I know Megan wishes they would too, because she can't stand looking at them on my head. I am married to my college sweetheart, Jeff. We got married when I was 20, and he was 21. We were just little babies. We will be celebrating our 17th wedding anniversary in April, which just blows my mind. We have lived a lot of life together, some really amazing times, but also our fair share of not so amazing times. Life is hard. We have 3 kids. Hayden is 15, Eli is 13, and Della is 10. We have 4 cats, Roseanne, Rexy, Macy, and Augie, and they all live in our house. Cat hair is our favorite accessory. My husband farms with his family. I own Sprinkle of Joy Boutique and Blooms. You guys probably looked at my bio earlier. I love Diet Coke with ice. But if that's not available, I'll take a Mountain Dew. Love to redo things in my home. And my husband loves to do projects as well, so it works out really good. Love to give gifts. I love God. I talk to him all the time. Probably gets a little annoyed, but that's okay. I see potential in everybody, and I have a deep love for people, even though I'm a huge introvert. When people can't see their worth, I make it like my mission to try to help them figure it out. So now you know the important things about me. I feel like we can go a little deeper. When Megan first asked me to speak at this event, I was like, yes, of course. And I thought, oh, I'm going to be lighthearted and airy and fun and inspirational. Like, I'm not gonna be deep and, get you crying or anything. But then nothing would come to me that was like that. And there's this one thing that just kept nagging and nagging and nagging at me, and I was like, well, I guess that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about the taboo thing, and I'm gonna go deep with you guys. Because here I am, I do the hard things. What I'm gonna talk about this afternoon is something I'm incredibly passionate about. And as I was preparing for this, I was reminded time and time again that this is something that has been a priority in my life since I can remember. It's on every vision board that I've made, and I've wrote it in my journal time and time again. I'm absolutely fascinated by it. But it's a difficult topic, and most people avoid it at all costs. But I tell myself and my kids all the time, you can do hard things. So I'll do the hard things, because I know it's important for all of you here today, and a good reminder for me as well. What I ask from you today is to go into this with an open heart, an open mind, and to give it a chance and put your trust in me. First, I want all of you guys to close your eyes. Imagine it's a beautiful spring day. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining. The grass is green, and the flowers are blooming. You're taking it all in. It's so peaceful. In the distance, you notice a group of people. It looks like a party or a wedding. You're not sure, but it piques your interest, so you follow the crowd. You look around, and you see many people you know and love, and people you have come in contact with at some point in your life. They all look familiar. You notice some of them are crying, hugging, sharing stories. Then you realize you're at a funeral. You listen to the stories, you see the tears and the love in people's eyes. And you smile because this person has clearly made a difference. You start looking at the picture boards, and it brings you back to your own memories of the people there. You start to wonder, who are we all here for? It must be someone that I know. You look around to search for more clues. You spot the casket up in the front of the church. So you start to make your way up there, past all the beautiful flowers and the crowds of people. As you slowly approach the casket, your heart begins to beat faster, because surely this is someone that you also love, if everyone here is someone you know. Then it dawns on you. It's you everyone is here for. It's you lying in the casket. It's you everyone is sharing the stories about. It's you they're shedding tears for. It's you. One by one, your family and friends stand up to share their memories and talk about the wonderful legacy you left behind. And it leaves you wondering, is what they're saying true? Did I live up to what I want my legacy to be? Did I do all the things I always said I would do? You can open your eyes now. I know that this may sound morbid, but if there's one thing that we all know, it's our time on earth here is not forever. We all know it, but it's hard to face that reality. None of us are guaranteed to live until we're 100, and we can't keep waiting for tomorrow, because tomorrow is never promised. But I have good news, you guys. We are all here today. Let's not take this for granted. In my time with you today, I'm going to take you through some steps to clear out all of the extra noise, to find out what it is that you truly want in this life, how you want to be remembered, what you want your legacy to be, and to take inventory of what you are doing now that's going to either bring you closer or farther away from who you really are. I have been fascinated with this topic as long as I can remember. In fact, in college, I did my public speaking class on the song Live Like You Are Dying by Tim McGraw. It had just come out, And, I couldn't tell you what I actually said in that, and I don't feel like I had the impact that I wanted to have, because public speaking was not my thing. It was the biggest fear next to spiders for me. But here I am, 18 years later, doing it, and I think I'll get it right this time. I don't recall ever being afraid to die. And the more that I grow in my faith, I'm even less afraid. But I am afraid that I'm not going to be able to do everything that I've wanted to do in this life. Whether that's starting a business, going on vacations with my family, spending as much time as I can, having deep conversations with people that I love, I want to do everything. But I fail miserably at it sometimes. And I know that you guys do too. Sometimes we need a gut check. Unfortunately, the gut checks usually come at the expense of some unfortunate news. Something bad happening to yourself, to someone you love, or an acquaintance. Isn't that something? We all have good intentions, right? We usually know what we should be doing, but sometimes it takes a big old slap in the face to bring you back into focus. This is where my husband would say suffering is the light of consciousness. In real people terms, that means something good usually comes when something bad happens. He's a big fan of Eckhart Tolle. If anybody knows who he is, it's a little different. But, bad things, they're going to happen in your life. It's unavoidable. However, we have a choice. We can let it affect us negatively, or we can let it affect us positively. The choice is yours. Usually the greatest things in your life have come from suffering. When things were harder, when something bad happened, it doesn't feel like it at the time, but when you look back on it, you can see it pretty clearly. I have had quite a few slap-in-my-face moments, but there's one situation in my life that sticks out pretty clearly, and it was a huge turning point for me. Our oldest son, Hayden, is 15. He loves history and other countries. He wants to be in the military someday and breed snakes. And he also loves the music that these countries that he's obsessed with create. I didn't think I would ever know the Russian national anthem, but I find myself humming along to it now. He is so funny, and he's so smart, and he's quite literally my favorite person. I mean, there's a lot of favorite people, but I love him a lot. Now, if I could have had a glimpse into what my life would be like 10 years ago, I probably would have handled this period in my life differently. But then again, I probably wouldn't be here on this stage talking or doing all the things that I've done since then. So I'm very thankful for it. Hayden is on the autism spectrum, but that's just a small piece of who he is. When he was diagnosed at 5 years old, that was one of my very first big ol' slap in the face moments. At that time, we had a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an almost 1-year-old. I was working an office job, and I enjoyed it for the most part, but I was working all the time. My husband is a dairy and crop farmer, and he also was working a lot. Not long after Hayden was diagnosed, our daughter Della had to get glasses. Not a big deal, but it was just one more thing, and I just felt like I was spiraling. Nothing was going on with Eli, our 3-year-old at the time, other than me feeling like I was absolutely failing as mom. I wasn't giving him attention, and he was just kind of pushed to the wayside. I was in an emotional spiral. I was crying all the time. I had no ambition. I was angry. I was angry with God. I asked all the why me's, and I stayed in that feeling for way too long. My marriage was struggling. My world was crashing down around me. All of a sudden, the vision I had for my life, for Hayden's life, for our life as a family, just left. Our schedule quickly filled with occupational therapy appointments, speech therapy appointments, therapy appointments. I felt judgment from people that I didn't know and people that I did know. Things got really tough as we tried to learn this new normal on how to raise a child that's different. I made it my mission to learn as much as I could about autism, to educate others, so I could understand him, so he could understand him. When I started to immerse myself in helping him, I started looking pretty deep. I started looking pretty deep inside of myself as well, and I knew there were a lot of things that I needed to change. My eyes became clearer, my heart grew, and my thoughts changed for the better. But it took a long time. This picture perfectly sums up my life at the time. It was utter disarray, not in a cute way. That smile was not real. I remember this photo shoot very clearly. I remember crying a lot. While I was on the journey of educating and learning, I lost myself. As a mom of three young kids, that's very easy to do. Because let's face it, you're in survival mode. As I started coming out of that fog, I became determined to figure out what my purpose was, what my passion was, and to find something that made me as happy and fulfilled as my husband was farming. What I knew is I loved people. I loved being there for them, helping them. I loved to give. I loved decorating. I loved designing things. I loved shopping. I loved being creative. So I convinced Megan, you guys know who she is, to open up a store in Browerville, Sprinkle of Joy Boutique. I'll try to make the long story short from the last 6 years because that's not what my time here is for. In that time, we expanded our store to Sauk Centre. We added Amy on as a partner. And in the meantime, we added a flower shop to the mix and did a lot. In the past year, we chose to split our partnership, and now I'm the sole owner of Sprinkle of Joy Boutique and Blooms in Browerville. Our store has changed quite a bit in the last 6 years, but one thing has remained the same, and that's my passion for giving, for being there for people, and for creating. In having a flower shop, we are involved in a lot of funerals. We are reminded of our time here on earth several times a month. It's actually one of our favorite things that we do. It's such an honor being a part of saying goodbye or helping these family and friends say goodbye to their loved ones. When we're doing flowers for a funeral, we instantly pull up their obituary because we want to learn about who they are, who they were, what their legacy is, and it makes the process more personal. A couple years ago, I co-founded Project Joy, a nonprofit that raises funds through our community to provide Christmas presents for children in Todd County that might not otherwise get it. I tell you all of this because in the last few years, I have tried to live more intentionally, to do things that bring me closer to what I want my legacy to be. I fall off the wagon many times, and I'll continue to do so. Sometimes I focus way too much on one area of my life, so the others start to fall behind. It's a balancing act that I just haven't quite mastered. But the great Maya Angelou once said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive and to do some with passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." Isn't she smart? I have that sign sitting on my desk to serve as a reminder to me every day. I try to surround myself with these kind of things to keep me on track. Like if this is how I want to live, then there are certain things I should do and not do. Everybody's purpose and legacy is different, and that's okay. It should be. Most of us have to work. We need money to live. Some people will find purpose in their career, and some people will find it with what they do outside of work. There's no right or wrong way, but you're wrong if you think you don't have a purpose. And I hope that this exercise that we do next will help you find out what you're looking for. I will add, I did not invent this whole thing. My husband actually played me a death meditation that was in a book that he was listening to. I can't remember if it was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or Hero on a Mission. They're both fantastic books. Can we talk about how excited he is in this picture, you guys? So he is holding cheese. And he not only has a passion for farming, but he also has a passion for making cheese and yogurt from the cows that we milk. So everybody's passion is different. His is making cheese, mine's not, but it's okay. Lean into it. So if you guys have not figured it out yet today, we are going to write our own obituaries. I know what you're thinking. Well, maybe not exactly everything. Some of you might want to run out the door, and some of you may think that I am crazy, and that is okay. I didn't want to do it the first time I did it either. But something I've learned about myself is I'm here to do the hard things, to have the tough conversations, and to help people through it. So that's what I'm going to do. And because I can't sit down with each of you and have a deep heart-to-heart like I'd want to, I had this journal that I made up that finally came yesterday that I am going to hand out to you guys, and it has all the prompts that you need to fill this all out. And I would like my SOJ girls to help me hand these out. Okay, they're in the box over there, guys. Okay, so while they're handing out the journals, I am just going to kind of go over the pages that you'll be working on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this poem is a poem that I first heard at a funeral of somebody that I just love dearly. And I printed this off immediately and put it out on my desk as well, because it's what I want to do in my life. God has given me a place on earth to be here for a while. I hope that as I'm passing through, I will make somebody smile. I want to make life easier for all the ones I meet. I ask God for his blessings to the strangers on the street. I hope I'll never fail a child if I can help somehow. I want to be as generous as my resources will allow. And when my life on earth is done, it will be my final plea. Let someone, somewhere, think or say, you made a difference to me. So, okay. So there's a misconception that obituaries are about death. In reality, they're about life. What does writing your own obituary tell you? It tells you that you are not dead yet. So get out there and live up the rest of your life. This project is going to help you strip away all of the noise and realize what's important to you in this one precious life that we have been given. Take some time to reflect on these questions, and this isn't for anyone but yourself. So on this page here, you're going to put, on this page here, you're going to make a list of all the people, places, and activities that you value the most. That page, some questions. If you die tomorrow, would you die happy? What are your 3 non-negotiables? So what are the things that you're passionate about, your values, things that are kind of above the rest? Who will miss you the most? 3 personal goals. 3 professional goals. What do you miss most about the people you love who are gone? What would you like to be remembered for? And then on the next page, you're going to write your name as it's going to appear on your grave. And in one sentence or 2, how did you make the world a better place? And this is where it gets hard on the next spot. You need to be honest with yourself. Are you living right now the way that you want to be remembered? And what kind of things do you need to do differently? Then the last part of it, write your obituary. And I'm not saying you were born on this day, you went to this school, you were confirmed on this date. Nope. It's you. It's what you want somebody to read after you're gone, where they can read that and be like, wow, that person was really cool. I'm going to put on some music. We have about 15 minutes of songs, and I want you guys to just fill this stuff out. And if you don't want to fill out all those answers, I do have just some blank pages. Just free write. Write things that are coming to your mind. Just reflect on your life. Relationships you need to mend, relationships you maybe need to start, some memories you cherish, things you've always wanted to do, just whatever comes to your mind. Use it to your advantage.